Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, let me show you what I'm doing. You can call this combine general maintenance. So it's time for an oil change. I just got the bucket hung underneath here. So I'm going to jump up in the engine compartment and open up the valve and start dropping the engine oil out. This is on the R52. This is the one that's got the Deutz air-cooled motor in it. And Gleaner ran these air-cooleds up, the combine's in 1993, and Gleaner ran these air-cooleds up until about 94, maybe 95, and then everything was Cummins. And so you got this, hopefully you can see halfway decent underneath there. Got this little valve down here, get it opened up. And that should get it draining. I change oil on both combines every year. I don't go by hours, just every year they get the oil changed. And of course, right there's the oil filter, and I also change the fuel filters every year as well. And I will also be changing the air filters. I change air filters every year. Now the hydraulic filters, I change those every other year. And so that's got that draining. Let's jump down and take a look. I got the oil coming out. And if I remember right, this thing holds about 4.5 gallons approximately. While the oil's draining out, I go ahead and get the air filters opened up. And of course this combine, we only use it for soybeans anyway. And so the big machine, the R52, it does all the corn. Go ahead and set them up there. While the oil's draining out, I can at least go ahead and get the air filter changed. These air-cooled motors, they were all right. They were a lot more higher maintenance. And that's the problem. A lot of guys didn't keep them cleaned out and they'd have a lot of trouble overheating. Because when we're running, every day I take an air gun, blow it all out inside and that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I say, Gleaner ran the Cummins motor. We'll take that back. I think it might have actually been after AGCO formed there in 1990. That might have been when I think there was actually an option where you could either pick either the 8.3 Cummins and or the air cooled for the first couple years there, and then everything went to Cummins. And then of course when Deutz Alice had it there from the beginning of 1986 until 1990, it was, as far as I know, everything was air cooled. Now, fuel efficiency, they are very fuel efficient. And then Gleaner ran Cummins engines up until I think it might have been about 2007, approximately. And then they switched over and actually started running a Sisu, S-I-S-U. And it's actually an AGCO made engine. And I've had several people tell me the reason why they did that was because of with Cummins, it kind of got to the point where if work needed to be done on it, they had to call Cummins. Whereas with running their own motor, they can work on it and service it themselves. Just like John Deere builds their own motor. As far as no case, they build their own motor and that kind of stuff. And that way it's all their own motor and that kind of stuff. And that way they can work on it, or their dealers can work on it themselves. And so, tell you what, I'll just pop the top here off and show it to you. It kind of looks like a Harley Davidson motorcycle. Because you just have 6 individual jugs with air fins, kind of like I say, just like a Harley motorcycle and or even a lawnmower engine practically. You got that top cover, and then you have this back cover here. Take and unlatch. Okay, let me take the camera off my head, and now I'm holding it. Yeah, see, you got these, just all those jugs in there with fins. This right here is an engine oil cooler. This right here is your hydraulic oil cooler. And that right there is the fan that blows air through it. This right here is an inner air cooler. And so, yeah, like I say, they're a nice engine, but they are higher maintenance, and that was the downfall. Because guys would not keep them cleaned out, and then they would end up overheating. And the R42 and 52, well, even the what I call the 0 series, which would be the R40, 50, 60, and 70. The R40 and 50 and the R42 and 52 had 6-cylinder motors. The R60 and 70 and R62 and 72, they actually ran an air-cooled V8 motor up here. And those were actually even more of a pain to try and open up to clean out good. And like I say, myself, we are actually first owner on this machine. And we've always kept it cleaned out. But myself, I would never have another air-cooled motor in a combine. Mainly because they were just higher maintenance, and usually you had a lot of trouble if you let a lot of dirt and that kind of stuff build up around here. You can end up overheating one of your cylinders. And so, but yeah, like I say, it's always worked good for us, but we just got to keep it cleaned out every day. And so I'm going to jump back down and take a look at that oil bucket. Okay, yeah, bucket's getting right up there, and so it's not going to have a lot left. All right, got my new oil filter, oil pan. These type of filter wrenches like that are pretty handy. The strap works pretty good too on those big straps, but I just like this type of wrench. It can be a little bit more convenient. There we go. Also, another convenient thing is this thing. It's called Forma Funnel, and it's vinyl, but it's got like a metal type of insert in the side of it. You can take and just make like a funnel type deal and kind of fold up the ends a little bit. And it works pretty good for putting underneath an oil filter like that. And as the filter begins to run over, like they always do, well, I thought it works pretty good at catching the oil. Well, I was counting on it running over by now. Okay, there it goes. I can feel it coming on down the back. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like I said, that green thing's pretty handy. Kind of let that drain out a little bit. The little tube coming into the bucket, the engine itself is all empty, and so that part's all out. Now on this machine, I don't know, you could probably get by with changing it every other year, but I just change it every year. That way the oil is always good. Well, especially on a combine, because on a combine, okay, it's about ready to come loose. There we go. Yeah, there we are. Like I say, especially on a combine, you're with your engine always running full throttle. And that's why I like to take and just change it every year, and that way it's good to go. Just kind of splashed over the edge of the pan right there. Okay, there's a new filter. That beeping sound you hear, we actually have a tire guy out here working on some of the tractor tires, and so he's moving his service truck around. Okay, let's go ahead and take this out and put that up underneath. Oh, I forgot. Put a little bit of oil around that. Gasket. There we are. All right, that's got that. Now I'm just ready to take and start putting the oil in. And once I get done with the oil, I'll start the machine up, let it run through, that way I can fill up the oil filter, and then be ready for the... Once I get done with the oil, I'll start it up, let it run, fill the filter, and then change the fuel filters, because you got one here, and then there's one down here on the side, in the front of the back wheel. Just can't pour in very fast, otherwise they want to kind of bubble up. All right, I just finished getting it filled up with oil. And so now I'm going to take and start it. And then we'll be ready to move on to the fuel filters. Get them spun off, changed out, and this thing is ready to go. Well, take that back. Other than put the bean head on, check sickle sections. But all major stuff will be done. I've already checked the clean grain elevator. It's good and tight. I may need to tighten up the retake elevator chain, but we'll wait and see on that. But next project are the fuel filters. Now I'm down here on the side. Sure enough, I spun the filter off before I forgot to turn the camera on. But anyway, yeah, I still had to put the new filter on. But down here, this is where the primary filter is, and then it goes up. And then you have the secondary back there. Okay, here's the new filter. And what I do is I take and tighten this down and crack that bleeder open on top. Okay, now we're ready to take and turn the fuel back on. This little shut off right here. In fact, I hear a fuel going in that filter right now. Okay, crack the bleeder. All right, got fuel in here pushing out. We're filling up. And we're getting close. Come on, let's go. Okay, that's got the air all shoved out. Okay, that filter is full. Now, I'm going to shut the fuel back off, and we'll be ready to go back up in behind here and change the filter there on the back of the engine. So we're going to take and shut this back off. There we go. All right, now we're ready to climb back up on the back side. Okay, I got all my supplies. There's a little air bleeding screw right there. It takes a 10mm wrench. And so, like I say, this funnel deal sure does make it nice. It's called, of course I showed it to you when I did the engine oil, but we actually got it through Napa here several years ago. And as you can see, it comes in pretty handy doing this kind of stuff, because I have before taken an old license plate even and kind of rainbowed it just to make a nice little funnel out of it, but it don't work near as well. Hopefully you can see halfway decent. You got that throttle cable going right across there. Okay. Dump out the old filter. And we'll just go ahead and drop that into the box. Now, back sometimes what I'll do, I'll just take and set one footer on top of the other. That's a good way of taking oil up the seal and then put it back in. Now if I can get that to sit there. Come on, let's go. There we are. Okay, get the funnel out. Get the filter spun on. All right, that's got that one. Now all I gotta do is just jump down the side and turn the fuel shut-off switch back on, And then I'll get up here and crack open that bleeder and run the air through, and that'll have it. All right, I turned the fuel on down there. I just gotta take and open up that little bleeder. I'm not too sure how well you can see that, but there's some little bubbles coming out around that thing. Put my funnel back underneath, and then of course you can just use a little hand prime pump here, and that helps just speed it up to push fuel through. Okay, there's air. I just felt it. Now we're back to fuel again. That's actually your little primer pump, which is part of the lift pump. And that lift pump just simply supplies fuel into the injection pump. All right, there we are. There we are. Taking and tightening back down. That's got it. Get an old rag and just kind of... Now, surprisingly, it didn't dump a bunch of fuel down around the filter like it generally always does. Maybe because you're watching. But I can clean him up around there like that, and that's got that part. And now usually what I'll do now that I got the bleeder tightened down is I'll take the hand pump and pump it until it's actually just forcing fuel through and pushing it back around through the return. Okay, I kind of heard some air bubbles go through there. That is tiring on the thumb. Okay, that's got it. I think we're ready to start it up now, and I gotta move the combine anyway, and so maybe I'll jump in and let you hear it fire it up. All right, let's start this thing up and see what it sounds like. It should fire right off. What I normally do is I'll start it, let it warm up, shut it off, and then change filters. That way it's nice and warm when you go fire it back up after you've put the new filters on. And so everything should be good to go. Let's see. Okay, oil pressure came up good. Voltmeter runs good. Don't sound too bad. Well guys, I'm going to call that an end of this video. So like I say, this has just been a little service video showing how to change general filters and that kind of stuff on a Gleaner R52. So take care, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.